RDR fam, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a great day and a great weekend. Didn't do a video yesterday as wasn't much to talk about. I did do some trades yesterday, actually two trades. And the one was I was trying to get picked up on a DR move. Price had come down, and I actually, said, okay, I'm gonna put an order in for it to go back up right above, I think, 0.5 fib. And of course, it didn't. It went up for a hot second, and it started coming back down again. So I got stopped out of that trade, and then I just, I'm not even afraid to say I revenge traded to the downside, um, and got my coins back, as I say, and was done. So again, it wasn't really a true DR trade. It was a revenge trade, so it wasn't much to talk about yesterday. But today wasn't much better, guys. I mean, this has been a rough, since last Friday. DR has been kind of acting up a little bit, and I get it, right? So we're in the middle of like CPI, PPI, FOMC. Now we're in the middle of earnings season, so it's a little bit, it's not smooth sailing right now. But we'll talk about what we got today for DR. And I'm always honest with you guys. Like I did not trade at all today. I barely even looked at the chart. And when I looked at the chart, what I saw was a false DR day, which let me just want to just shut the chart down, right? So um, so I wanted to look back, and it's really only, honestly, I say there's one trade that I saw that I would have taken. All right, and so we'll talk about that one, um, and we'll talk about if I see anywhere else that we would have gotten stopped out at. Right, that's the other thing I'm always looking for. It's like based on where the candles are moving, there's a possibility I would have gotten stopped out. Right, and I do see one place, and I'll talk about that one. All right, so let's go ahead and hit it. This will be a quick one, but I hate going days and days without doing a video or recap, because you can, even if you're not trading, you can still learn from what's happening in the market. All right, so let's go. Let's see what we got today from a range standpoint. It looks like a pretty small range. Well, maybe not. So we got, let's say, 59, and this goes up to, what's that, 80. So at 21 points, so it's not a small range. It was like right on time. Um, the other thing to look at, if you look at where we at the top, DR and IDR literally are sitting around top of each other. And what that means, remember what DR is, right? DR is the the longest wick, okay, versus IDR, which is the longest body. All right. So 'cause if you look at, for instance, if you look down here at the low, you see the IDR is at what, 42, 62, 61, 50, somewhere in there. But if you look at where the wick is, or where the body is, right, the body's right here. That's the lowest. That's the lowest full body. Now, what you also see is down here on the DR, you have the wicks, right? So you have, wicks that, I mean, they came down below, below the IDR, but they didn't close below that, right? So that's why you have the wicks that are down here, and whatever the lowest wick is, that becomes your lowest IDR part. Now, why that's important is because if you're looking at your fibs, what when I look at fibs, and when this strategy, when we look at fibs, we're looking at it from the IDR perspective, right? So where the body's closed. So halfway, so that point 0.5 fib we talk about all the time, that blue line, that's halfway, or that's the midpoint of the IDR, right? Not the DR, right? So, and if you look here, you kind of get, that's where you get the 5 and a -1, right? So you can kind of see how they're organized. Okay, so just a reminder that even though we want candles to close above and below DR to confirm, IDR is really important as well. Okay, because again, that is where that's where the body of the candles are, and people always say bodies are more important than wicks, and sometimes people don't even use wicks, but we would use them in our strategy. So anyway, so I just want to point that out. We haven't talked about things like that in a while, so I figured since there's not much action to talk about, we can get a little education going on. All right, so let's see where we are from a trade standpoint. Okay, so we confirm here. All right, so we confirm high. You notice we had been we had been testing that high for about, in this case, about 20 minutes. Finally broke through it, and then immediately kind of reversed back down. Okay. Now, so what's our play here, right? So let's use this for education. Now, once I get below this, right, I'm looking and I see this. What I'm looking to do is I'm looking for a price to start to move back up. And I'm also at that point, right, I'm actually going to put my order right here on this IDR/DR high. Okay. Now, if you look at it, and well, let's just make this bigger so we can just talk about it real quick. All right, sorry. Okay. So, all right, this point, my order is here. Okay. And I'm waiting for price to come back up and pick me up. In this case, it never happened. All right. It never got back to that IDR line or the DR line, whichever one you want to use. Okay. All right. It makes sense. So I'm waiting, waiting, waiting. Don't get picked up. Price continues to move. Okay. It almost gets down to the .5 fib here, which is my next angle, right? Because if I don't get picked up here, my next rung on my ladder is here on the .5 fib. So what that means to me is what I would try to do is actually wait for price to go below this, like on this candle, really nice, and then I'd wait for it to come back up above that .5 fib and pick me up for the move back to the upside. Okay, and so we did not see that. That did not happen. All right, when we got down here, again, price never went below until we got to this candle here, this big candle, and then we actually never got back up to that .5 fib. So again, no trade there. Now here's where the trade would have come into play, because what I'm looking for now is if I get, again, I confirmed high up here. I'm looking now for a retirement setup because prices come all the way down, and it's just about at this IDR low. And remember what a retirement setup is a reversal off of the IDR or the DR. The key to this whole thing is the price cannot close below the DR. Okay, it can wick down here and then come back up and close up here, and I'm still valid for the day, right? So I'm still true, right? Right now I'm true. Okay, and once it gets below and it closes, if it was to come down here and close below that, now I'm false. All right, it makes sense. Okay, so in this case, let me get rid of all this stuff. All right, so in this case, what I'm looking at is price comes down below this IDR low. Okay, now, and it starts to reverse back. So where's my order? My order is on IDR low. Okay, now this is the only legitimate trade DR wise that I saw for today. Okay, and what I mean by that is right now we're at 42.62. Price moves back up. I can get 5 points off here at 45.57, which is on this candle right here. Okay. Now I could have actually done it twice. Okay, if I'm really being aggressive on this. So that's your 5 points, right? So 62 to 50 to 67. All right. Next candle comes back down again and does the exact same thing. Okay, comes down and then turns back around. So what can you do? You can put an order here on again back on 42.62 and let price come back up. Now this time price goes up to, you can actually take the 5 points, but it actually goes up to almost 10 points, so about 9 points. I think that's about 71-ish right here at the top of this candle. So you could have taken 5, 6, 7, 8 points or whatever it is. Now what I would have done, this is, again, how I would have traded this. If I'd moved my take profit up to 10 points, which is 42.72, then I would actually move my stop loss up. All right, so my take profit would have been up here. My stop loss would have been moved up from, down here, right, up to like 5 points. So I would have been guaranteeing myself 5 points right around here. So when this happens and the price goes up, doesn't quite make 10, and it starts to come back down, now I got one or two choices. I can let it just, stop itself out, right? If I can't watch it, I can just, set it and forget it because I'm guaranteed 5 points. Or if I see it come back down, I can just go ahead and stop it out myself at, 7 points or so, right? So in this case, like I'm looking at this, and this is, here's 10 points right here. Now you have to be really, really, really patient on this stuff, right? That's the only part that, is a little challenging because, you got to watch all of this happen, okay? And I didn't put, so I don't know if I don't know if I have my fair value gaps on or not, but might not have it on. But I can see like here, fair value gap, but that's a negative, right? Which becomes interesting in a second here. And I just actually am just noticing that. No other fair value gaps down here. So unless you're just, bearish for the day, if you're really doing true DR, you're not taking any of this stuff here. And again, even you're not taking this here yet because this is still bearish, okay? So you got 1 point, you got 5 points here, 5 points. So you got 10 points that you could have taken pretty easily. Now, here's where I say it gets interesting because remember, we have this bearish fair value gap here. So now if I'm looking at it from an IDR standpoint, not an IDR, if I'm looking at it from a Michael Hudson ICT standpoint, right? Then I see this bearish fair value gap right here. And what you notice is that this candle right here, pierces up on that bearish fair value gap, and it starts to come back down. So if you're being really aggressive and you're doing multiple strategies, kind of a little more piece of the advanced side, you could have said, okay, I see what's happening. Grab your trade right here, right? You put at the bottom of that bearish fair value gap, and just ride that on down. Here we actually get a false. We now become a false DR day. So at that point, there's really not much else for me to do from a DR standpoint. But again, you could have been sitting pretty if you were running this from an ICT standpoint, right? So, this is a DR channel. We like to focus on DR, but again, there's other strategies out there that you could use. And let's say that's 42. Let's say 42.69. And if you're being aggressive, you can take all the way down to 45, right? So 45, 55, 65, so at 20 something points. So that's not a bad play. So again, I love my DR. DR is primary for me, but I'm always looking to see what else could be out there, and that's an opportunity there that I could have would have taken. Now here's the crazy part. That's only half the day. All right. You look at the rest of the day. Is there really anything that you would have done? Quite possible. I'm sure there's some more ICT stuff in there you could have done. I'm sure there's some, no, actually at that point. Now, there is a way to trade DR when the day goes false. And it does kind of work with some of these fibs. You can kind of see here we can enter that -1 fib and then reversed off of that. So there are ways to do that. I don't get into that as much. I like to keep my trading very, very simple, as I've said in the past. And simple to me means, I'm not trying to go against the market, right? That makes sense. I'm just trying to go with what the market's giving me. And when it stops giving it to me, I just wait. Okay. And like I said, last couple of days, I really haven't had time to really dedicate to really studying that. Still do my Sunday setups, and I'm like, okay, if I get a chance, I will do these things. But working on a couple of huge things at work right now, and it's just not conducive to me, being able to watch a chart. I do set my alert still. Okay, so again, that's every day, right? So I have a schedule that I follow. I have an alarm that goes off at 10:25 because at 10:30 that means that DR is setting up, right? So if I'm busy, my alarm goes off at 10:25, so I can look and get ready for 10:30 to see where I want to set my alerts. I can set my alerts and kind of go back to doing what I'm doing, and once the alert goes off, I can try to pay attention if I can, right? And so today the alert went off when DR confirmed high. And so I watched it for about 10 minutes, and then I saw what was happening, and I saw that we didn't come back up here and take out or, kind of pick up to the upside. And so it just like it did what it was supposed to do, right? It went the other way, and I was like, okay, cool. Now, again, if I was watching, I could have done that action here, those 2 5-pointers here. And I did get an alert when we got here to make it a false day, and that's when I kind of said, all right, whatever, I'm done. All right. But anyway, so I've been rambling long enough. Again, not a lot of action today, but definitely some lessons and things just to kind of remember. Every once in a while, I'll get a little too fancy about things, and then I have to kind of reel myself back in and say, look, take it back to the basics. We confirm, we retrace, we set an order, and watch it get picked up. Either you're going to win or you're going to lose, right? That's it. That's the strategy. Okay. So, I started getting to like, if there's ICT stuff there I can use for Confluence, that's awesome. But getting into like, here's a fair value gap that's, going in the opposite direction. Do I take that trade? I thought, oh, this one right here. Do I take that trade and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, it's a little more advanced. And that's, you can make some pretty good profit off of that. But if you're trading the strategy, then you trade the strategy. Right? I always say stick to the rules. And so this is one case where I would have stuck to the rules. And again, I would have taken those two trades coming off of the DR low, IDR low. But that probably would have been it. So anyway, enough rambling for me. Hope everybody had a great day. Missed you guys. So want to make sure I came on and at least said hello and kind of talked through the day and what I saw. But as we always say, love on your loved ones. You never know when you won't be able to do it again. So take advantage of each and every opportunity to do that. And that's it. This week will be again kind of maybe short for me. Today's Tuesday. I might do something tomorrow. Thursday and Friday, I will be out. It's homecoming week for us folks in the 757. Y'all know who it is. So it's homecoming week, so I'll be hanging out with some of my fraternity brothers, all that good stuff on Thursday and Friday. So I doubt I will have time to even look at the market, much less trade and do a recap. So please don't expect to see me on Thursday or Friday. I will try to do something tomorrow if the market allows us to have something to talk about. All right. Don't want to get on and ramble again 2 days in a row. So anyway, all right. I appreciate you guys and questions. Put them in the comment section. As always, I try to answer each and every one, or send me a DM or one of those things. And I'll get back to you as always. All right. Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one.